So, welcome to the Fortean News Podcast. Richard Daniels from
Hello.
the Occultaria of Albion.
Yeah,
Sorry.
everyone
Yeah.
struggles with it.
Yeah, it's a definite mouthful.
Yeah.
So, tell me about what is the I'm going to not get it wrong. This is my dyslexia. Occultaria of Albion.
Um, well, the Occultaria of Albion is really, I suppose, a multimedia horror paranormal project that I do with myself, really, and my wife, Melody Phelan Clark, who does a lot, or most, I should say, of the artwork for it. And we sort of present a fictionalized version of Great Britain, really, with sort of paranormal investigations and weird happenings which we explore. And yeah, and it's a zine, it's a live show. I've also got a YouTube channel, so that's what I mean by multimedia. We're attacking on all fronts.
Yeah, and it's exceptionally unique, but very, very British.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's definitely got that kind of whimsical, weird British sort of sensibility about it, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I think many people try and replicate, but only us Brits can manage. So,
Yeah.
how did you start it? Where did it come from, and how did you kind of get into this area?
Um, well, I've always been a sort of a bit of a fan of, horror and the paranormal. And then, like with a lot of stories about how things began, I suppose you could sort of like point towards lockdown during COVID. I think I can't quite remember now, but I think I'd already begun to contemplate doing some sort of writing or a zine that was like a part work series of the type that you used to get in the 1970s and 80s, those sort of like paranormal compendiums. And I'd had an idea to do something like that. So I can't quite remember now whether it was just before lockdown or certainly like in the middle of lockdown, but it was around then that I began it. And I just had this idea for to make up a location and then sort of like talk about some of the paranormal events that might have taken place there in the style of those part work series. So sort of non-fictional, fictional non-fiction, I suppose. And then from that point, I had a, I thought, I know, well, I'll carry on and I'll do a couple more places as if it is a part work series, and it's just built and built from there. Really, that was like 5, 6 years ago now. So I've got about almost 20 different editions of the zine of the case file series now, and a live show and a YouTube, like I said. So it's sort of like mushroomed a little bit.
Yeah, explain. I think I first came across your stuff in Edinburgh in
Oh,
a
right.
in a witchy shop there.
Oh, fab.
So and
I
that
don't know how
yeah
it ended up there, but that sounds good.
yeah and took an interest. So were you into this stuff beforehand, or was this kind of you were into horror and you kind of crossed over into more kind of the Fortean paranormal kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I always had a bit of a sort of a passing interest in it, just from, I was always into storytelling and stories. And when I was a kid, things like Tales of the Unexpected on TV always used to fascinate me, and lots of odd things like that. And so I always already had like a bit of an interest in that sort of stuff. And then it just sort of crystallized, and it really ramped up when I started writing a bit more about it. And uh, I met Mel. We were sort of just dating then, and she's a real horror nut, so she sort of like brought it out in me even more. So together I guess we launched into it, full steam.
It's really iconic, your stuff as well. It's got its own very unique kind of imagery, so it really does work.
I
What
blame the wife.
it's really good. I've got one of your t-shirts about the gloves.
Oh yeah, the Lost Glove Society. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So another sort of offshoot of what I do with the Occultaria of Albion is um, this idea that lost gloves are a mechanism by which you can travel interdimensionally. And the Lost Glove Society was formed in 1958 by Frank Bourne to investigate and analyze lost gloves. And I sort of talk a little bit about that in the course of the OA. And there is a Lost Gloves Society which you can become a member of, and you've got a T-shirt. So Have
And the
you found
card.
many? Yeah, have you found many lost gloves?
There's one weird, genuinely weirdly, just pure coincidence. There is a medium who's got a shop at the end of the road, and someone's lost a glove and placed it on her windowsill of a shop.
Wow, that is no coincidence, I can assure you. She
So
knows something.
yeah, she's obviously getting the information from people of the future,
That's
transporting it.
right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, cool.
So yeah, there's plenty of gloves around. And how did you come up with that idea?
I don't know. It was just, I think I just stumbled. There must have been a period of time, like a week or something, where I think I'd come across several lost gloves in one week, and I just thought it was a bit odd that there were so many. I mean, I don't think it was like the height of winter, when people tend to lose gloves, but so it just got me thinking what might be going on there, and I just sort of like created this idea of the Lost Glove Society. I mean, I say I created it; it's all real.
Definitely, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm sure if you search AI, it will start blending your
Oh, I hope so. Yeah,
strong research into other books will start to appear.
absolutely. Oh, I hope so. I hope AI is as confused by it as anyone else.
When you're looking at a location, when you're writing the
Mm.
kind of the zine about it, do you look in like some of the actual history to kind of build upon, or
Yeah, I definitely do research and look at similar types of places and look at similar types of stories, and I try and blend it, and make something new out of it. So I look at lots of kind of paranormal tropes, I suppose, and then I try and overlay it onto a location that I've created. But that location is usually inspired by a series of real places, no one place really. So for instance, at the moment, I'm writing the next zine, which hopefully will be out in the next few months or so, which is based at it's a transmitter station in like one of the big transmitter towers, and so I've been looking into old transmitter towers across the UK, and so I've been sort of like researching the sort of topography and how they fit in with the landscape, and then out of that, I've been looking at time slips just recently, and imagining like all those kind of frequencies and waves and how you might imagine time slips happening. So I've been looking at real life cases of time slips and trying to blend it all together into a into a narrative. So that's a good example of how that can work.
no, fantastic. Where I actually experienced a time slip right here in Scarborough. It literally
Really?
lasted maybe 3 seconds. That was it. But it
Tell us
was
what.
just bizarre. I was walking on North Marine Road, and just for there was, as I say, it was 3 seconds, if that, and there was just people in old Victorian clothes and like a tram coming up the road. And then I was like, I need to research because if I tell people I saw a tram and this road never had a tram, I'm going to look an idiot. But when I looked into it, it did actually have a tram in Victorian times on that road. So
Wow.
very,
So
very strange.
what happened? Like you say, only lasted 3 seconds. Did everything just kind of disappear, or was it like
It
changing the
was
TV channel, or what was the sort of?
it was just instant. It was just
Yeah.
like I think I even blinked like and like what is going on, and then it had vanished.
Wow.
So
Uh, do you know if anyone else has had similar experiences in that vicinity, or?
that road is kind of infamous for stuff. So someone told me that the cat's come now. Look, so I got the dog and the cat. Someone told me they were walking along there and they looked in the someone's front garden. So there's kind of stone gardens. It's not a garden in a sense, but a yard.
Mm.
And they had this really strange alien grey statue, and they were like, "That's a weird thing to have in their front garden." And then they turned and looked at it again, and it wasn't there. So they say. So yeah, there's lots of little peculiar stories and hauntings and poltergeist activity on that street.
That's incredible. Yeah. And how long ago was it that this occurred to you? This happened.
So when I was living there, so we're talking, goodness, probably 24 years ago now.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's Scarborough's a peculiar old town
Mm. I
Very
think
ancient.
seaside towns in general have that sort of liminal vibe, don't they? Because they're at the edge of, usually as far as you can go before you're out.
Yeah, and Scarborough is a dead end. It's the end of the A64. So if you're coming to Scarborough, you're kind of coming here. You're not passing through.
Mm,
And it does kind of, it's also the oldest holiday resort. It's like the first ever one, and a Viking settlement, an Ice Age settlement before that. So it's
yeah,
definitely got its history.
yeah, definitely. And of course, the iconic hotel.
The,
Uh,
the Grand,
that's
yes,
right, the Grand. Yeah,
which
I'd love to stay there just to
you,
soak
you
up the ambulance.
you probably won't after you've stayed there. Um,
No, yeah, I have heard the horror stories, but
I was I had a friend who was doing a documentary, and she coming over from Finland, and we went in to do some filming. And as soon as we walked in, there was a man straight in the doorway as you go in this beautiful, grand Victorian kind of entrance, and he was just sat in a chair, fast asleep, with both his hands down his trousers. So that's the Grand.
yeah.
Famously, Hitler.
Welcome to the Grand.
Yeah, Hitler wanted to make it his base when
Yeah,
he.
well, if it's good enough for Hitler, who
Yeah,
knows?
that should be the tagline.
Yeah.
So yeah, that has some stories as well. But yeah, Scarborough is this kind of Victorian living on its past. So
Mm.
it's liminal even in itself,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which of course you'll see because you're doing a show here.
I am absolutely, yeah, on the 29th of May, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a poster right here for those looking on the YouTube
Oh,
channel.
brilliant. Yeah. 29th of May.
So it's going to be what? Tell us a little bit about that. So what can people expect? Because it isn't just in Scarborough. You've got dates that are continuously going throughout the year.
Yeah, we're playing off and on all over. So far this year, we've played at Cambridge and Burnley and Liverpool, and so next it's Scarborough, and then in June we're playing in Leeds. So it's kind of like an ongoing tour, really. So the filing cabinet of fear, similar, it uses the Occultaria of Albion material. So I explore some of the case files that I've already created. It's multimedia again, so we have videos, a PowerPoint presentation, essentially. My good friend, the musician, linoleum department, he provides a musical bedding for everything that I'm doing, creating a sort of cone of power to protect the audience from any paranormal energies. So he brings his synthesizers along and makes some very haunting, beautiful music whilst I'm performing. So it's definitely, if anybody's in the Scarborough area, I would say they should definitely, and they've got a passing interest in the paranormal and the weird and the unusual, they should definitely come along and check out what we're doing. I think it's a fun, entertaining evening, far out fun, not to be taken too seriously. So
Yeah, it's something very different, and like where we're having it as well. Just to really advertise, the drinks are very cheap, so you can have a whole
even
night
better.
out for a
Yeah, yeah,
tenner.
yeah.
So it's
No,
it's. Sorry, go ahead.
we're looking forward to. We've never performed at the seaside like a place like Scarborough before, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, looking forward to it.
How did you come up with that idea then of the Filet Cabinet of Fear?
Well, I think I'd done sort of like a live performance or mock lecture previously before any of this, and talking about some of the case files that I'd written, and then after I'd done that, I was thinking, if I were to sort of redo this show again, what does it need? What would improve it? And it felt as if we needed some sort of a prop on stage, something that you could that would be the central idea around what was going on. And then around the same time I was thinking about these sorts of things, my friend linoleum department said I'd happily sort of come on board and we should perform together, and I can bring the sound effects and add that element to it. And from there we just sort of like devised this show. And I found a cheap filing cabinet for sale in Grimsby, bought it online, and it used to belong to somebody who I don't know what the term is, not collected snakes, but they kept snakes, and it was when we bought it, it had a load of stickers inside it, like unstuck stickers that were advertising this guy that sold and reared snakes. So that's its provenance. And yeah, I took it and turned it into this paranormal prop that we use in the show now. So yeah, everything is, all these case files have been stored inside this filing cabinet, which has gone rogue and has potent paranormal energies, which I have to deal with during the course of the show. So yeah, that's a little, I guess that gives you a bit of a flavour of what to expect.
And I came to see it in York,
You did,
and it was really, I absolutely loved it, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether it was a serious show. I didn't know it was a comedy show. I was just came along and enjoyed it. And I remember I brought my daughter and my daughter's friend, who's probably the best way to call her is a troubled teen. So she's got issues, and she was just going to wait outside. I was like, you can't wait outside. Come in. And all of us enjoyed it. So it doesn't matter
yeah.
kind of who you are. She had no interest in the paranormal. I don't think she'd even been to a show before, and she
Right.
absolutely loved it. So
Oh, great.
it's really just a wonderful, whimsical, fun show. It's
Yeah.
really, really good.
I think since it was June last year, I believe, when we played in York, when you saw it, and since then we've kind of developed it a little bit and tweaked it here and there. So it's a similar but slightly different show to what you've seen. So we're always trying to kind of improve and develop it and make it, as engaging as possible. So hopefully, when you see it in Scarborough, you'll enjoy it just as much.
No, I can't wait to see it again. I mean, that's why it's it's rare someone watches something and then goes, "That's so good, I've got to bring it," to
Yeah.
the town.
Well, we really appreciate that. Yeah, it's great that you're willing to sort of like put it on and help promote it and everything like that. So yeah, thank you to you.
It's just wonderful to share it with this community. We did put a couple of shows on, and we put one on. It was a charity one, and we thought, oh, we'll be lucky if anyone turns up. And then when the night came, we were having to borrow chairs from different places because it was
That's
full.
fabulous. That happens.
So
Yeah,
so hopefully it's gonna
yeah,
be the same. So make sure you get your tickets before that it sells out, because once it does sell out, that'll be it.
yeah. And people will then be kicking themselves that they missed this
They
great
will.
paranormal happening. Yeah,
It'll go down in history in Scarborough
yeah.
law.
That's right. There'll be lots of time slips on the streets of Scarborough that night, I can tell you.
Yeah, it was like when Biffy Clyro played here and it was empty, but there was lots of times that people say they were there
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of
when they were
course.
unsigned. And
Yeah.
yeah. Um, have you had any kind of experiences yourself or done any investigations?
Um. Not. I mean, I've done investigations as part of the Occultaria of Albion. There's video evidence of these things on YouTube, so I've had some pretty strange experiences. Some people might say that it's all nonsense and I've made it all up, but I think if you watch the videos, you'll see that that cannot be the case at all. It's all very much genuine.
I saw your training video, just even
Thank you. Yeah.
to engage in this stuff.
Yeah, I take it very seriously, and you have to really, as a paranormal investigator, you can't just kind of rock up and expect to see a ghost. You've got to sort of train your mind and your body, as you can tell from the video. Obviously, my body is a temple
Yeah.
to the paranormal. But prior to actually becoming a paranormal investigator, there was one incident really that I remember when I was a kid. I was probably about 12 or 13, and me and two or three friends had decided to go and explore this abandoned house on the edge of town where I lived. It'd been abandoned ever since I can remember. So throughout my childhood, this house had just sat empty and abandoned, and no windows, and the sort of rotten house on the edge of town. And we cycled out on our bikes, and one of us, I think, if I remember, had done some research, had gone to the local library, and I don't know exactly what they'd found out. I don't even know if maybe it was all a load of nonsense and they hadn't done it. But I distinctly remember them saying that the person that used to live there had unalived themselves. So that sort of added to our excitement about going down and exploring this house. And I remember we were stood outside it, kind of saying, "Well, who's going to go first? Then one of you go." And it wasn't me, but a friend of mine, that he stepped forward to sort of like walk through the doorway, and pretty much in my memory, at exactly the same time that he did that, a piece of the roof seemed to fall away and a pigeon flew into the air. And I don't know, that seemed like a very scary, genuine, creepy event. And then
Yeah.
when we were inside the house, there was like lots of, obviously, squatters or something had been in there in the past, and there was a lot of graffiti written in red writing, like, stay away and things like that. So yeah, that was my genuine sort of house of horror story. Anyway, that's happened.
Interesting that squatters were there and left messages that said stay away. Because squatters, if they've got a place, don't tend to leave.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So it was probably just other teens that they used it for smoking weed or whatever. I don't know now, but yeah, at the time when I was about 12, 13, still being quite naive and innocent, it all seemed quite genuine. There was definitely a creepy ambience about the whole thing. Obviously, looking back now, it was just a tumble down house that had people smoking drugs there, and it was the usual sort of thing. But at the time, especially with the pigeon flying into the air, and it's sort of like, it seemed as if it was a genuinely kind of haunted, creepy sort of incident. But yeah,
yeah,
but a lot of these things are about perception, aren't they? I suppose.
absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely build that kind of consciousness with people, can't you? When you tell someone's it's haunted, and they
Yeah,
will start to perceive things anyway. So
yeah.
that's definitely a thing. Um, yeah, we've had. I get phone calls and I do investigations and help people. And we've had people that they've had other investigators in that are a bit more unscrupulous who will find demons everywhere, let's say, and
Mm,
they've told them it's this, that, and the other, and they start perceiving evidence for it, and actually it's just loose pipes.
yeah.
It's one of those things. We do have a World War II bunker at a place called Bempton, and that's renowned, and it's full of pornographic, satanic graffiti.
Right.
And there's all sorts of rumors of like 70s of strange orgies going on
Yeah.
and all
Satanic,
sorts of things there.
satanic
Yeah.
type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but supposedly like
Yeah.
genuine Satanists who were having this exciting fun in those bunkers. So
Hum bunkers.
yeah, that's a bit of local folklore
Are
and
they
legend.
are they sort of like listed or protected buildings now? Some of those.
Yeah, they are, and they're on private land. So anyone listening, I don't, I
Mm,
do say, keep off. I know Paul Sinclair, who also just lives up the coast. He's wanted to investigate them, and he's not been allowed in either. And there were videos online, and then they all just suddenly got taken down. But I don't know whether that's because it was drawing people to the site who, not nothing paranormal, but just obviously it's this
mm,
farmer's private land, and it's dangerous. I think there's like a broken ladder to get down into them and stuff.
right.
But it's just one of these wonderful kind of places that's got lore and legend attached to
Yeah.
it locally.
Yeah. I imagine that there's many sites like that, sort of post-war bunkers or lookout tower type things, dotted around the country, where there's similar types of thing that have gone on, I imagine.
Yeah, we've got lots obviously on the coast of pillboxes, and
Yeah.
they recently found one at Scarborough Castle that they didn't even know was there. I think they moved some grass or something, and there was some trapdoor or
Yeah.
something like that down there. So it's yeah, there's lots of this stuff, and obviously fits in with the whole satanic orgies. I mean, where else
Yeah.
would you do it?
Well, precisely. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
you've got Whitby just up the coast as well, haven't you? So,
we do, yeah. That's just 40 minutes away,
right.
if
So
if that.
the goth sort of satanic orgy capital, I would think.
Yeah, on the streets during Goth Festival, they're just at it in the fish and chip shops, and that's why everyone goes.
Yes, of course. Well,
It was the Goth Festival there the other week. I didn't realise there was a folklore festival, so I went to see that, and then when we went into town, there was just absolute wall to wall black of just these goths in this amazing costumes and face paint, and they obviously spent hours and hours on their clothing.
Mm,
It was just amazing to see.
yeah.
So
Was
yeah,
there steampunks as well?
yeah, and then there's this other subculture of like rave. I don't know the correct terminology, but like rave goths
Right.
who do like this kind of neo rave, but crossed with goth stuff. So they're
Right.
wearing like these like your really bright color rave clothing, but at the same time a very kind of gothic makeup and have a little bit of a darkness about them. It's just
Yeah.
brilliant.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. Sound probably more intriguing maybe than steampunks. I can't stand steampunk. I think it's dire, to be honest.
What do what do you like
I'm,
about steampunk?
I just think it's style without any substance at all. It's just dress up for boring middle-aged people, really, that think it's really edgy and interesting, and I just think it's utter shit. I think it's so dull and uninteresting. So I realise that I'm perhaps offending lots of people into steampunk, but I just think it's dreadful. Like
There was
style
some
without
really
any
good.
kind of substance.
There was some really good at the beginning. There was some really good kind of animes that were a little bit different,
Mm,
but I don't think it ever meant itself to be a genre. It was just kind of a.
yeah,
I think BioShock then made it huge as well, didn't it?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, it's got its place, but it's not my cup of tea, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've
So
probably offended many, many steampunks now, but there you are.
I don't know how many listen to this show.
A lot less after this.
I'd say a lot less now. So what's kind of like your ambitions for the book? You've got a full book out as well, haven't you? What as
Yeah,
well as the
the Occultaria Magisteria,
yeah,
uh, which is, I don't know if you can see that there, if to
yeah.
anyone that's watching. So this is the sort of the big compendium book, fully illustrated, that takes lots of information and expands on it and adds more stories from like my case files and just the whole Occultaria of Albion world that I've been building and creating along with Melody. It puts it all together into a sort of a nice paperback illustrated book. So that came out in February. So yeah, sorry, what did you ask me? Was it like what do I see happening with it all?
Yeah,
Um,
where are you going with it on?
well, right to the top, I hope. World domination, or at least I'd like to be able to do it more full time and sort of give up my day job and be able to devote more time to writing more and producing more videos and performing live a bit more and just kind of developing the world, really.
Because you
That's
recently went to find a wizard rock as well and had a bit of an
Yeah, the Wizard's
experience.
Stone. Yeah, that was quite intense. So there was a legend about a stone that was sat in a field for centuries, and the local legend was that two wizards had some sort of a cosmic battle, and the defeated wizard was turned into a stone. So I clearly had to go and investigate this, and I took an instrument with me that I had created, the Psionatron, which is able to pull out paranormal or psychic energy from a location or an object. So I had to really experiment with it and see if it would work on this wizard stone. And well, I shan't really say exactly what happened, but the video does exist on the YouTubes. So
I was a little
yeah,
concerned after watching it for your health.
thank you. Yeah, it did take me a few days to fully recover. You know, I don't know. I inhaled something that I probably shouldn't have, and something got into my mind. But I'm okay now, more or less. I'm pretty much back to normal. But yeah, that's again just part of what you have to go through as an investigator. And yeah, I would
That-
like to do more of that. But
That's why you do that physical training.
exactly. You can't, as I said before, you can't just waltz into these things without sort of preparing yourself. So yeah, and also, I mean, it helps for my day job as well. The sort of soul crushing misery of my 9 to 5. I also have to train myself for mentally.
Yes.
Pretend I'm not there.
Yeah, I know that feeling. We've got two giants near here on the moors as well.
Have you?
But I think it's more of a love story rather than a
Ah,
battle. So
well, that's nice.
I,
Giant stones, are they now? Or
I can't remember the story. I'll have to find out, and I'll maybe put it at the end of the show when I've got it in a
Yeah,
book. I collect
yeah,
lots of very old books from the area with lots of these stories
well,
and folklore and legends,
yeah.
which is
Well, can
really.
I ask you a question? What is it? What is it that you want to do? Because I know that you do loads of different things as well. You've got this podcast, but obviously you do many other sort of paranormal things as well.
Yeah,
What's your goal, if I can ask you that? Let
I
me
never had one.
table the turns for a moment.
I never had one. I just started telling like some of the local ghost stories, and wherever I travel, I try and find, look at. I go in charity shops and try and find
Mm,
books of the area, and I research all the ghost stories and the folklore, and then I kind of tell them, and
mm,
didn't expect anyone to kind of watch, and then I started getting thousands of followers on TikTok and stuff. And then we've always done a lot of the people say, why don't we put more of our investigations on? But a lot of them, if they're in people's home, we try
mm,
and kind of respect their privacy, because sometimes there's some genuinely traumatized people, and there's a crossover sometimes with mental health, and until you get to know those people quite well, it just doesn't seem appropriate to film. But no,
mm.
we do a lot. I just did some stuff for BBC Sounds on some of the local ghost stories, so that's coming out probably in a month, I think. Yeah, and just I just love it and I enjoy it, and I
Mm.
started off being terrified of it because I grew up in a house where it was literally like a horror film. Had like poltergeist activity, visual, different people come around and see different things. To the point some people wouldn't even, some of my friends would never come around my house. Others would come around more because they
Wow.
found it entertaining.
Was that in Scarborough?
Yeah, not so. I'm from London. Then we moved to Coventry, and then we moved to a place called Brompton by Sordon, which is about 20 minutes out of Scarborough. And it it's a medieval house, and but a bit behind the house there's a Roman road to a Roman house as well. So it's been a site for a long time. And yeah, there was the previous owner took his own life, and the owner before that took his own life, um, and then my dad left because he said he would have done the same. My brother did, um, and there was also just the unbelievable bad luck, like more than you could give to a family. Just stuff would go horribly wrong. Swarms of flies would appear, seemingly from like no source. There was just puddles of water sometimes would just appear, and literally, as I say, you could just be sat there and things would just start floating in midair or get thrown. Footsteps upstairs, running when no one's in the house, and not like, oh, was that footsteps? I mean, like as if someone's purposely running and banging their feet on the floor as hard as they can.
Do you think
Um,
that's what sort of brought you to what you're doing now? Then
I
some of
was
those
terrified
haunted
of it. Yeah, I was absolutely terrified of it, and it was, something that I wanted to not be terrified of anymore, and then started kind of looking into it, trying to beat that fear. And then we started working in a youth club in Filey, which is just down the coast from here. And there was this one place that was just like a paranormal playground. Like the feeling was quite light, and it
yeah.
would do what you asked it. And so you could literally say, could you move this?" And it would move.
Wow.
And kids would even go and take them before I even worked there. Kids would used to go and take themselves upstairs and basically just have fun with the poltergeist.
Wow.
Um, and that had a different feeling. So then I was like, what is this?
Mm,
And just came a bit immersed in it really.
wow.
So it sounds mad to anyone that wasn't there, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah. But
you know,
that's always the way with these things, isn't it? I suppose.
yeah, and I think it is for your personal perception to
Yeah.
to then view your how you see reality and perceive that, and then what I believe that takes it to what you believe in life is, because
Mm,
why else would it be a personal message if it wasn't to
mm,
then philosophize on? But you can you can bring the greatest evidence and no one will believe it unless they're there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
Well, that's why it intrigues so many people and why everybody has an interest. It can't help but intrigue you, however you might feel about it, I suppose. And
mm.
that's why things like Uncanny on the BBC have got the popularity that they have, I suppose, because we're all intrigued by it one way or another.
It's nice to be a little bit scared in a safe way,
Mm,
and just it's stuff that is impossible but happens, which is then fascinating, isn't it?
mm, absolutely, yeah.
Do you feel a bit nervous that you're exposing the secrets of the gloves and that they might try and take you out?
Obviously, it is something that I've thought about, but I feel like the truth has to be, brought out, and if I'm just a small part of doing that by talking about lost gloves and interdimensionality and the forces that are out there, I think it's definitely, you know, part of my mission, if you will. I mean, I don't want to sound too grandiose, but I guess I'm kind of a big deal.
Absolutely. Have you had any visitors from the Men in Black yet?
Not yet, but well, I say not yet, but they're always kind of there, aren't they? The bloke on the street who just looks like he's walking his dog or whatever. They're always out there. So yes, I have. But I mean, you are probably, excuse me, you are probably one. I would think you're just deep cover, aren't you?
I do try and hide it as much as I can, but when I
Yeah,
wear my sunglasses, it does give it away.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not wearing them for me this evening.
But that's part of the double disguise, you see.
God,
So it's very hard to tell.
now you're really twisting my melon.
We did have a Men in Black experience in Scarborough as well. That's
Oh,
part of the international law, and it's someone who had a pseudonym, so I've never been able to track her down. But it's in books and everything, and she
American Men in Black or UK Men in Black? Like, did they have an
just
accent or was it?
there
Sorry, I
were
need to tell the story before I interrupt with
no.
silly.
I've never been asked that or thought about that. I'm assuming because they never said, "Oh, they're American," that they must have just had a British accent.
Mm,
Because Adele is a pseudonym. She never she described them who and the way she described them is exactly the same as
right,
these strange kind of waxy skinned human beings with no hair
right,
wearing kind of oversized suits that don't seem part of this time. And she was a teen, and this gentleman came in and asking for his his I think it was her dad, and then pointed to this clock on the mantelpiece, and he said, "Oh, what is that?" And then she said, "Oh, it was given to my dad for like 10 years of work or something like that. Anyway,
mm,
a certain amount of work. The boss gave it to it, and this guy was like, "Oh no, that's the wrong one," and then ran out the house and down the road.
that's weird. And did Adele's dad have any insight or know what any of this was about?
I think he had a UFO experience a couple of days before,
Oh wow.
so that was the link. So yeah, it's just I've many times done videos. I've wrote in the paper once. I've done call outs on the podcast saying I'd love to interview Adele, but
Mm.
no one's ever reached out, even anonymously, of course. But
Have you ever heard from anyone else that's had a Men in Black experience?
not directly. No,
No.
I'd love to. I'd love to chat to them. I did have a strange experience myself, but it's probably absolute coincidence. But it was too much of a coincidence that it shut me up, and it was only a couple of weeks ago, and it was like late at night, and I was walking my dog, and this car drove down the street, stopped right in front of me, did
Yeah.
like a wheel spinning 3 point turn, and drove off. Didn't think much to it. I just like that's odd until I went up a different road, and another car, different car, did exactly the same thing.
Wow. Was it your aftershave or?
Maybe or the dogs.
Yeah. Well, that is very unusual.
Yeah, I mean it will just be a coincidence, but I can't. It's a massive one because cars don't often do that.
No. I don't know. It could be your sort of reputation, your paranormal potency.
It's like an antenna, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
pulsing it out there, broadcasting it 24/7.
that's right. Wow.
We just had a house blow up as well, and of course it was.
I was listening to your podcast a few days ago, or whenever it was. Maybe it was yesterday, and yeah, it sounded like a horrific thing, and
Yeah,
could
yeah,
have been even worse.
directly opposite, like literally just there. Of all, and everyone said it'll be opposite James's as soon as it was on this street because
Yeah.
yeah, this stuff just happens.
Do you think they were aiming for you?
They missed. It's
Yeah.
because I researched your video and put my cone of I made one,
Oh, oh my
put that
God.
on, and I sleep in it.
That'll be
So
it then. Yeah.
so I'm safe.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome.
I, you've saved my life.
Yeah. Well, I'll just add that to the list of people's lives I've saved or redeemed in some way. As I say, it's a duty, really, isn't it? It's a responsibility.
Your wrist must be sore from writing them all.
Writing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's a burden at times, but
yeah.
you understand.
I do. We wouldn't be having this interview if it wasn't for
No,
that. So
I'm
yeah,
surprised actually that we haven't had it more kind of static interference, like the powers that be trying to shut this kind of conversation down between two powerful figures like ourselves.
they're just probably watching. They're trying to gain information, intercepting the signal.
Yeah.
It's like these I've forgotten the name. Those cameramen that go to protests and
Oh yeah.
they're kind of weaving in and out, upsetting everyone. And I think it's because the police are just using them for monitoring. I think this is the same, but with
Oh,
paranormal.
quite possibly. Have you? Can I ask you? Have you seen on Facebook the videos of that lady that speaks to her AI, and she's always asking it lots of kind of questions about esoteric stuff and the true nature of things? And have you seen that lady that does that?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
I was just going to ask you what your thoughts on it were. I can't remember. I can't remember what the channel is called or exactly what it is, but she's sort of like has got a her chat GPT thing or whatever it is. I'm not really up on it all, and she asks it like questions about like what is really happening at CERN and you know what is the true nature of reality and questions like that. And the reason I'm just asking you is because she was doing some sort of a podcast the other day and she was speaking to somebody who I assume is kind of in that same sort of field, and she said that during her podcast it all cut out and like the signal was lost, and they like the suggestion was it was some sort of deliberate interference by someone or something. And
Right.
you know but
Probably AI.
well, yeah, probably just a bad signal.
Yeah.
uh
It's one of my
yeah,
friends works at CERN.
really.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Doing
it's
what?
he's a quantum
Pressing
physicist.
buttons.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's a quantum physicist and he lectures at Sheffield University. So I
Yeah.
often have some chats to him about my views of the paranormal in relating to like quantum reality, which is more
Has
my
he,
belief than dead people. So
right. Has he confessed that they've opened up some sort of a wormhole? And
he hasn't yet. No,
uh,
he hasn't yet. But
well, you want to get him drunk and get
I
him to
have got
talk.
him drunk and he has told me some stories which I will not air.
No,
Um,
no.
but he's had some experiences before he worked there.
Right.
So that's yeah, it's a fascinating one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's new areas of research, isn't it? And I think
Yeah.
this is the funny thing. I think the more they learn, the more it does link to the whatever's going on with the paranormal,
Yeah.
because it just doesn't. As one quantum physicist said, when he had experiences, he said, "I didn't say it was possible. I just said it happened,"
Mhm. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
which is it.
Yeah. That's a good way of thinking about a lot of things, really, isn't it?
Mm, yeah. We also have, and I don't know whether it'll come to the show. We have the old stinker, which is a interdimensional werewolf in this part of the world as well.
Wow.
And there's a full documentary on it called Wolfland that Paul Sinclair's made.
Wow. Is that available on YouTube or?
Amazon Prime, it's on.
Okay.
And no, it's brilliant. Like people genuinely believe they've had experiences, and
Is it a bit
um,
like a Black Shuck type of thing then, like a werewolf type?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a werewolf, and even Paul's done research and even found like medieval manuscripts in this area talking about it, and people are still kind of
Wow.
experiencing it. And then we have the Barguest as well, just on the
Mm.
moors, which is 15 minutes away, and I put something out about that, and I was really surprised actually that some of the even a local politician got in touch who had an experience of one of those. Who was like, it can't have been anything else. It's yeah,
Do
it's a
you,
mystical part of the world.
do you know if there's a full moon in Scarborough, or in Scarborough, anywhere on the 29th of May?
We
Am I
can we
performing
can
during a full moon?
we can certainly ask AI, and
Yeah,
it may crash though the podcast when we do so.
let's try it.
Let's have a look. Is there a full moon in Scarborough on the 29th of May? We'll see what it tells us.
What does the magic 8 ball say?
I've got one of those as well. Um, it's determining the moon phase, it says at the moment.
Oh,
No, unfortunately not. The
okay,
moon will
well,
be in its
that's
waxing
fine.
gibbons.
Oh, the gig can still go ahead then. We're fine.
We're all right, we're safe.
Yeah.
Unless some gibbons do turn up with the
Well,
wax.
as long as they buy a ticket, we don't
Yeah.
mind it.
I always wonder why they're waxing as well.
Yeah. And what are they waxing?
Yes. So, where can people get hold of all your stuff?
Okay, so the best place to go would be the website occultariaofalbion.co.uk. And that's where you can buy the zines, the book, learn a little bit more about what the OA is. I've got a Patreon where you can support me. You can support me for free. You can just sort of like sign on as a follower or a patron. You don't have to pay, but there is a tier where you can throw me a bit of money each month. So that's patreon.com/occultaria. I've got a YouTube channel where you can see some of my investigations. That's if you typed in the Occultaria of Albion into YouTube, I'm sure I'd come up. I think my handle is Paranormal Scrutineer, so they'd be able to find me that way. But yeah, they're the best ways to sort of find what I'm doing.
Yeah, and if you listen to the audio version, I'll be able to put all those links into the feed as well, so they can just click
Brilliant.
on those and get in touch. So
Thank you.
why should people definitely come to your show?
Why should they come to my show? Because if they don't, they'll probably be visited by mysterious men in black suits. But they should also come because it's going to be a fantastic, paranormal, spectacular, far out fun that is completely unique. I've not seen anything else like it. I don't sort of want to sound self-important or anything, but I think it's a really unique, fun, exciting show, and they should come along and see what they think for themselves. Yeah, and it's a really good ticket price and as you said, the booze is cheap as well. So
Yeah, it's going to be a great venue. It's a great night. TV's rubbish,
yeah,
and it's just steampunk stuff all night. So it's
rubbish.
yeah, it's. I always say memories are a lot better than TV. So yeah,
Yeah,
come along, enjoy the show. Go check out Richard's stuff online as well. Have a laugh, learn how to train to be a paranormal investigator,
absolutely.
and then you too can be part of this very special elite group.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks very much.
So thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right, no worries. Cheers.
Cheers.